Welcome to another craft with Sumner Public Library, and I'm Sara. And today we will be decorating the flower pot, and then we will be adding stickers to it after, of course, the paint dries. It's just something fun to do as we approach spring, flowers, and Mother's Day. There is a Mother's Day sticker in here, plenty of plant puns. Those are some of my favorites, but I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I decided I wanted a dark background. I like the color teal. I don't need the fuzz. And then I'm gonna go in and just kind of add dimensional colors to it because my stickers will not show up very well. And I'm just gonna go in. Kind of makes you feel like Bob Ross a little bit. And I just kind of gonna do whatever tickles me. And some of the pots have some imperfections, so I'm hoping by layering some paint around it, it will take away from their presence. Okay, I kind of like using the sponge, giving it a little bit of texture. It also covers up any light spots or dark spots from my original base coat. We had a watercolor painting class not that long ago here, and I just kind of think of some of that was applied there, about how to work with colors. Just kind of touching up around here. Grab a different sponge here. Just drag my finger through it. Yay. I'm gonna take, I like gray, so I'm gonna add that into here. Actually going to use this one as well for a little bit of purple I want to add in. I do need to. Alright guys, and I got my purple mixed in with my gray, and that will be my last little just blending it out. I think that takes blending your colors and blending it out the way you want to on the pot takes the longest. There is a book, and its cover is a marbling of these colors, which is where I drew my inspiration for how I wanted to paint my pot. It is the book by Glennon Doyle, Untamed. is a wonderful nonfiction book that helps you kind of like discover who you really are. The person you are that is authentic until yourself, and learning to become untamed from what society or religious or whatever constraints you feel have molded you into something that you don't actually fit into. And maybe you never did, or maybe things have changed and you no longer fit that mold that you've been trying to fit yourself into. It's my favorite book. So, all right, this is my pot, and we will go ahead and let that dry, and maybe I will be able to put a sticker on it by the time we are done with our mascara. Okay, so now we will be making the homemade mascara. So this is it's easy to make. It's kind of messy. Working with activated charcoal is I don't care how prepared you are, it is just going to be messy. So that is the one drawback to making your own stuffs, makeups, and using activated charcoal, because it's such a light, like floofy powder. So when you use it, it is easily airborne. So yeah, definitely want to make sure you're prepared to wipe things down. Try not to wear good clothes. We're gonna try to be really proactive in not getting it on myself. So what we will be needing for our mascara is activated charcoal, bentonite clay, glycerin, and then the aloe and beeswax, and lavender and rosemary. I'm gonna set those over here. Remember, we don't add essential oils to any hot mixture until it is cool. Definitely before it sets up, of course, but don't add any essential oils to a hot mix. Hot. Okay, so my original recipe that I found online, and it's a recipe from the Mediavine Food. That's where I got this from. And it's supposed to be a non-smudging mascara. It doesn't smudge easily like the other recipes, but of course with any wear it will. Don't recommend sleeping with it on, because it smudges just like any other mascara that you will use. So this recipe makes like 1/3 ounce of mascara. This is a 1 ounce container, and I'm actually going to triple my recipe so I can go ahead and use this, because you can also use it as eyeliner, and also a caveat as I go ahead and try to measure things out is to go ahead and use a microwave to melt it down. If you want to use like a double boiler, some people prefer that, but like it's such a small recipe, just throwing it in the microwave is just fine. So in my thing here, we're gonna do pardon me while I do math. My 1/8 is, so we're gonna do roughly a 1/2 teaspoon. I'm gonna add just a little extra. Okay, and then we are going to do 1.5 teaspoons of charcoal. As you can see, it's kind of a, if I go over here where it's a little lighter of a background, when you open it, you can see it like wisp up, kind of like hot liquid vapors. So that's one, and I'm going to do I want to make sure this is really close before I move it and set it down. Done with that, I'm going to go ahead and wipe my fingers. Okay. And our bentonite clay calls for a 1/2 teaspoon. I'm going to do 1.5, the same amount as the charcoal. If you want like a black brown, go ahead and add like a cocoa powder, because that is safe. You can use that. If you want a black brown, and after we melt this, if we decide that, oh, it's too light, we can always add more charcoal powder or your cocoa powder, whatever you think. We're going to add the glycerin. This is going to give it a smooth finish, and I'm actually going to add that after I add my aloe. And this is 1/4 teaspoon, so I will be using about 2/3 of a teaspoon. So. And you want to use pure aloe gel. That over there. Use a handy dandy little wood crafting stick. Alright, and the glycerin is 1/2 teaspoon, so we are going to use well, and I'm going to go ahead and give this a stir before I even put it in. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay guys, I am back, and then when I was heating this, it works best to put your small bowl inside a bigger bowl with water, because if you don't melt like the wax with the glycerin and aloe first, it's too mixed up and it smokes. So just go ahead and put it in another bowl of water, and it diffuses the microwaves to make it hot. So I'm going to mix, and then I want this, obviously it needs more, it's too powdery. past it ran short on and just a little bit more. And the bentonite, both bentonite clay and charcoal, the water's really hot. They're super absorbers. So if you've put too much in, you just have to keep adding more till you get a nice smooth texture. Just a little bit more glycerin. That's what will make it smooth. So as I'm stirring it, I should probably take this out so you can see it. As I'm stirring this up, I will run it up against the side of the bowl in slower motions, and then I will see how smooth it is. And this is turning out very well. And it is definitely cool enough where I can go ahead and add lavender and 6 drops of rosemary. And of course, if you don't want to put as many, that's a personal preference, but lavender is also antimicrobial, so it'll help with keeping germs from growing in your mix. This has a shelf life of roughly about 3 months. Store in a cool, dry place. And if you're wishing to reconstitute it at a later date, if it seems dry, do not put normal tap water in there. There are germs and bacteria in that will, if you want, use like a distilled water, or if you have the aloe or glycerin at home, just add a drop or 2 of that and try to mix it in. All right, and there you have it. It is a nice, smooth mascara. Okay, and now that the paint is pretty much dry, there's a couple tacky spots, but I will go ahead and select my saying. There's some like really funny plant puns. Sometimes I wet my plants. I will survive. I have a couple other fun ones. I do have some just like dragonflies, or what they call the tree of life. And then I have ones for mom, and then some other aloe vera much, and pretty fly for a cacti. What's the other one? Be nicer leaf. And then there's some other ones. But yes, let's go ahead and, all right guys, I made these stickers up, and so I'm going to trim them. Everybody will trim off what they want or how they want it. Okay, so I've trimmed my sticker how I would like it. And just take that, and then I've added a butterfly. I don't know, so you can see. There we go, because of the shine. But yep, I love butterflies, very partial to them. And then I think I will also add a more irreverent sticker, which is punny, and it's what the succulent, but you know what I mean. My crafts are geared towards adults, so, and it's not meant to offend anybody. Everybody has their own personal tastes. I happen to find this hilarious, so that's what I'm going to add to my pot. And I have decorated my pot. All right, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.